Q&A time again with Michael Pierce of MichaelsHealthAnswers.ca. Michael, with your combined areas of expertise as a chef and as a health advocate, could you tell us about some of the food preparation methods you use at home?
Absolutely, Agnes. I know from my experience, just with my own children, a lot of people don't necessarily have all the best food handling practices. So what I'd like to share with everybody involves a very important part of your diet, and that is your leafy greens, your lettuces, your spinaches, your kale, all those sort of things. I don't know how many of you know it, but almost every food on the planet is sprayed with some sort of chemical pesticide anywhere from 3 to 10 times during its life cycle, depending on where it's grown and how long it's in the ground. So it becomes very important that you use cold, clean water to vigorously rinse and wash all your leafy greens. I also recommend that everybody have a salad spinner in your cupboard, because unless you're going to consume it immediately, you need to spin all the water off without bruising or damaging the lettuce. So what I like to do is fill my sink up half full with cold, clean water. I cut up all my vegetables, take out any of the bad stuff as I'm cutting it out or before I'm cutting it out by trimming the ends. Dump it all in the sink, let it sit for 10 minutes in cold water with a tiny bit of salt in it. Pick up all the lettuce matter out of the sink, put it in your spinner, spin it out, use what you want fresh, put the rest of it in a bag, force all the air out of it, tie it tight, toss the bag of cut up dried vegetables in your fridge so they're ready for the next meal. I wouldn't recommend processing more than you're going to eat in 24 hours. That's what we used to do at the restaurant. We would cut up what we knew we would use for the next 24 hours, and when we got down to the last bus pan, in this case of cut up lettuce, we'd send somebody in the back to cut up another dozen heads and make 2 more bus pans. But really, your lettuce and all your leafy greens need to be washed. They're delicate foods, so use lots of cold water, let them rinse, lift them out of the water, put them in a spinner. They'll be clean, they'll taste better, and certainly be better for you. Now you've consciously washed off all the chemicals and potential hazards that have been left as a film on your food from the processing and shipping that it's gone through in its journey to get to your table.
Very interesting. You actually just flashed me right back to the 60s. My aunt used to do the exact same thing. Now for her foods were garden grown, so it was her way of getting rid of any aphids or dirt or whatever, but I guess the same, only different nowadays.
Well, I honestly think that when your grandmother were in the 60s, probably didn't have to worry about a lot of pesticides. The number available for the average person, you could probably count on one hand, instead of them being hundreds to thousands, which are now used and available for use everywhere in the world that your food might be grown. And it's not just what you put in your yard or what the locals put in your yard, but some of this stuff comes from Mexico, second and third world countries where there may not be such rigorous controls as there are here. So let's not assume anything we eat is clean. Let's clean it all. I even recommend washing things like potatoes. Let's face it, they were grown in the dirt and there's manure in that dirt. So just think about where your food came from and be consciously aware that you should clean all of it. The only thing I don't recommend that you wash ahead of time is mushrooms. Don't ever do that. That could be a big mistake and a huge waste of money.
Okay, I will remember that. Thanks, Michael.
Thank you, Agnes.